gathering of concerned activists worried about administrative neglect, crumbling social infrastructure and services in the Niger Delta, which they believe has brought about high level of unemployment, social deprivation, and endemic conflict between youths and the authorities. These breakdown of trust between the host communities and oil companies, they believe, have resulted in increased pipeline vandalism, which in turn has increased the incidence of oil spillage and environmental degradation. Crude oil theft has continued unabated around the oil-rich Niger Delta, resulting in economic losses for the country to the tune of $14 billion in 2014 alone. Environmental damage from this is immense, with oil spills devastating an estimated 15,500 hectares of land that would have been put to use by farmers. The activists are worried that the increase in pipeline vandalism is leaving hundreds of communities with no means of livelihood. There is a solution, and speaker after speaker calls on government to put in place the right policies to ensure that pipeline vandalism can be brought to the barest minimum.
A lot of people today have believed that the relationship between oil companies, government and communities have been broken for far too long, and now is the time to fix it. We've seen that through national oil companies and the indigenization of the oil industry in Nigeria, there's an opportunity to intervene. When those historically high expectations within community where huge amounts of money has been channeled into, those expectations crash.
We found out that one of the reasons why the communities in the Niger Delta, were pushing, went ahead and vandalized pipelines, was because unlike other parts of the country, they never had access. They still do not have access to regulated priced petroleum products.
To find a long-lasting solution to the challenge of oil spillage or pipeline vandalism in the Delta, stakeholders suggest that government and other relevant agencies bear in mind that a trust between communities in oil-producing region, oil companies, and the government has been broken for far too long and must be repaired. And the time to act is now. Sophia Ogezi, TVC News.
Sophia Ogezi there reporting on pipeline vandalism. Of course, that's what we are talking about, a problem that has refused to go away in Nigeria. A very big boy really on the neck of the Nigerian government. And there's something they call fingerprint of crude oil for every country if you want to export your crude oil to sell to international markets. Can't the Nigerian government use that to track stolen crude?
Well, when you talk about fingerprint, every crude from a particular reservoir has its own characteristics. So when you do the analysis, they all have their different fingerprints. A combination, because like take ESCRAVOS tank farm, for example, there are several reservoirs producing to the different flow stations. Then from the flow stations, they produce to the main tank farm where they are all mixed up. And you go through further treatment to reduce the basic water and sediment to the required spec for sale. Because if you have like 0.5% in your crude, nobody will buy it. So all those things go in there and they go through the treatment. The final products they are selling, they can do a fingerprint of that final product and know. But in the case of this vandalism, the international community can do a little because there's freedom. If I have a tanker and I want to go and buy crude in Nigeria, which is illegal crude, then I expect America to do that for us. All this problem is ours. We are calling the international community to help us so that they trace where these tankers go to and where they are coming from and all that. For the liquid to leave us into the tanker, that's what we should be facing. We must not allow it to happen. We are not begging people, help us monitor this, help us monitor that. So every crude has its own fingerprint. A combination of all of them have their own. So whatever is being sold, we know their fingerprint. But that's not the solution. The solution is to ensure that the crude does not get into those barges and go offshore to the tankers, because the tankers will stay beyond Nigerian territorial waters. And you, as a country, cannot take aircraft or helicopter there to go and bomb a tanker that is outside your territorial waters. So they are very mindful. They stay outside Nigerian territorial waters, so you cannot go there and attack them. And your boys will carry their crude, some of them escorted, and they go beyond that and discharge, collect the money, either paid directly to their account or cash or whatever. So when you have a crude that is selling for $110 a barrel, and somebody is ready to give it to you for $30 or $50, the man didn't work for it, so he's happy. You that is buying it, you know
You're
it's
gaining as well.
$110 a barrel and it's getting 50. So you're making a kill of about $60 for every barrel. So it's a win for the guy. So and that's piracy, which is it. As a matter of fact, like we're saying, this pipeline vandalization, I would call it pipeline conspiracy. Because it takes a team. Somebody knows where it is. Somebody knows how to go about it. Somebody is supervising it. And somebody is supposed to check it. Where those things merge and agree, the thing happens.
Oh.
So vandalism is one thing, but I think the conspiracy to do the vandalism and carry the crude is even worse. So we are emphasizing on somebody going to blow pipe. Is that all? There are people who are responsible. Here is a pipe. Somebody knows where the pipe is. Somebody has the equipment to blow the pipe. Somebody is going to get it. Then there are people who are supposed to supervise them. And the guy, okay, if you give me this, that goes. These are practical things. We have seen a lot, and I still have 100% belief that if the appropriate action is taken, this thing could be curtailed.
In essence, political will is needed.
Political
Just
will, the greed factor in Nigerians should just disappear. How much food can you eat with this mouth? You put excess in it, it will spill. So what are we talking about? You know, when I hear billions, what do you want to do with it? Do you even believe tomorrow you could close your eye and where is that billion? Even if you are buried with a golden casket or whatever. The ants that eat the Christmas is the one that will eat you. So of what use?
Indeed. Thank you very much.
We must change our value system and start looking at life differently and look at this country as a nation. We have what it takes to turn this country to anything. We have the intellectual capability. We have still capable people in this business. This 60-something years or more of oil exploration. By now, we should be able to domesticate the industry and have our own engineers, technicians run this road ship, fabricate things. That will create jobs. Rather than busting pipe and you get this from them, you get that, go and check this, you go there, okay, give me this, they give you. You close your eye. That's what is happening.
Thank you very much, Engineer Alex Nain, for the analysis and, of course, the various implications of oil pipeline vandalism or conspiracy, as you put it, in Nigeria. Thank you very much for your time on TBC Breakfast.